That's always going to be the case. It's always going to be men who say, no, we're not going to accept this, which is why they're trying so hard to stamp it out of us, which is why a lot of my work isn't about teaching AI or teaching money. It's trying to teach men to be men again. And just say this, you can be a man unapologetically, and you can feel like a man unapologetically, and you can have male opinions and masculine worldviews completely unapologetically. I think that's the most important thing I can do for the resistance against enslavement. But in terms of Hustlers University and the school we've built and the things we teach, it's kind of interesting. To me, it was such an obvious play to launch a school like this because all of the traditional education systems are, one, overpriced, and two, don't teach you anything.
They don't.
They really don't teach you anything. I talk to girls who go to university, and I love to say this. I say, what did you learn today? And they come home and go, what do you mean? No, today. You went to school today.
Yeah.
What did you learn today? They say, oh, I'm studying psychology. No, I didn't ask what you know. What did you learn today? It's amazing. And people who, I know it makes no sense to people who are struggling, but I have always been that way with money. Like if I had no money, I'd tip my last money. I'd give 50 euro my last money.
Bro, that
Here,
is me.
just take it. And then you're right. It's a feeling of abundance, and it seems to appear because your horizons are open. You know what's funny? When I was poor, I thought everybody was poor because I didn't know anybody with money. And now that I'm rich, everyone's rich. It's crazy. It's amazing now that I'm rich. All the people I talk to, everywhere I go, everybody has a $100,000 watch. Everybody has a Lamborghini. Everybody has a big house.
It's a paradigm shift. It's a paradigm shift.
It's
man.
weird. Like, everyone's not poor. In fact, everyone's actually rich. Everyone has loads of money.
Right.
And there are people who exist in that paradigm, and that's all they see, especially beautiful women. Beautiful women, to them, everybody's rich.
Yeah.
Everyone they ever talk to is rich. They never spoke to a guy who doesn't have money. In their mind, men just have money. We don't even have to earn it. We just grow it. Like hair. Just like, oh, you're a man, of course you have money. Every man I know has money. Every man on my phone has money. All my exes had money. Everyone has money. They don't even think about the fact that we have to go and earn it while they sit around doing their makeup.
True.
But it's true. So it is an absolute paradigm shift. But the reason we have Hustlers University is because traditional education teaches you nothing because it's outdated. The world is speeding up. Everything is happening faster than ever before, including the decline, by the way, because these things are exponential. But the world is speeding up. I did an emergency meeting the other day talking about all the crazy events that have happened so far this year. And we are now, all of our dopamine receptors are so fried. We're so uninterested. Think about it. There was Miami aliens. There was Jews in tunnels. There was a Russian terror attack. Think of all the crazy stuff that's happened. And within 2 days, you're like, yeah, whatever. Boring. How can you have an educational system where you expect someone to sit down there and spend 4 years learning information from 1992 and then walk out of there with any kind of value? The reason we created Hustlers University is because we can add a new campus in an hour. We update it 3 times a day, every day. If you're reading a page or if you're watching a video 3 times a day, every single day that video or that page will change. It's up-to-date, constant, cutting-edge technology. And we have AI, we have crypto. If something else disruptive launches, if they launch some brand new thing I've never even thought of, we will launch a campus on it and teach you how to do it because that's what we'll do instantly. And it's the instantaneousness of it that makes it so valuable. There's no other educational platform like that on the planet. And you need to be cutting edge in all things and you need to be first in all things. If you're first, it's often very hard to lose. If you were the first person to the gold mine, even if you were lazy and you had a shovel and you didn't like the sun very much because you got sunburned, you'd still find some gold. But if you're the last guy, you've now got to dig harder, you got to work harder, you got to do longer hours, all the low-hanging fruit is gone. Most people at home don't understand if they were to just join Hustlers University and pay attention and go through the lessons, you could make a fortune off the low-hanging fruit. You can make a fortune off all the apples that are easy to pick. You don't need to go to the top of the tree. That's for the person who came last and all the bottom apples are gone. So, but if I'm out there in life and I'm meeting someone who I barely know and they're telling me how they tried and they failed, partially, like I said, I don't want to be elitist, but part of me makes me feel happy about that. There's no winners without losers. I have no problem seeing losers lose. I'm not a philanthropist. I'm here to help the people who want to help themselves. If you want to stay a loser, I have absolutely no problems with you staying a loser, staying depressed, working in Starbucks. That's fine with me for eternity. I have no problem. I'll drive past the Starbucks in my Lamborghini and I'll look in and I'll see you standing there with your little, I'm a barista with your name tag. And you can stay there and be it doesn't bother me. In fact, I very much enjoy it. Like, I doubt I'd be invited, but if my high school were to have a reunion, for example, I would absolutely love to travel with my Bugatti and my armed guards. And what did you do? You do that? Very interesting. And
bro, we've actually done that, right?
Yeah.
We've all done that.
Of course, but this is what the masculine essence is. This is why I say they try and train it out of you. They say you're insecure to act that way, or why does he have a fast car? He's small, and all this garbage. No, but it's all a psyop. There's nothing insecure about wanting to be the king, proving you're the king, not being deluded, but proving it with real world achievements and walking through life saying, yeah, I'm the man, I'm top G, that's who I am. I earn it, every single piece of it, head to toe, whether it's the physicality or the finances, none of it was given to me. I did it all myself. I'm top G now. Here are all my wives. They all adore me. Ha ha ha. You can't do it. Ha ha ha. That's what life's about. Waking up and saying, ha ha ha. My life is one big ha ha ha. And the greatest thing about it is, even if I go to jail, even if something bad happens to me, because I have the ability to communicate, because I have the ability to tell the story, because I'll be non-emotional about it and not affected, because I'll remember it, it will just be another ha 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 in the end. You could put me in Mongolian jail for a year and I'll come out and all my haters will be like, ha ha ha, you went to jail. I'm like, no, ha ha for you. Because I'm about to tell the story and get a Netflix deal, sir. Right. So I still win. I always win. I'll reframe it anyway. So that's what life as a man should be. You should be able to wake up every day and say ha 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 to all the people that don't like you. Netflix would be mad, but they need the views now, so they probably will. Because I think somebody else pointed this out. I can't remember where I saw it, but it's very interesting about Netflix's business model, going back to money quickly. Talking about how much money they spend producing content. Yeah. And how quick. And then I watched that saying it was a very short, it was a YouTube short. Yeah. About how much money Netflix spends producing content. And then that day I was working all day and my girlfriend was on the couch and she was watching Netflix all day. And by the time I'd finished an 8-hour work, I said to her, what have you watched today? She goes, I watched this series and I watched this series and I watched this show. And I Google up the cost of these series and the show. I was like, you've torn through like $130 million worth of programming in a day. Yep. Whereas if you watch YouTube all day, you're tearing through a couple $1,000s worth of programming. Right. So Netflix can't produce programming as cost effectively as social media sites can. And in the long term, that's why they're going to lose and be destroyed, supposedly. Cool. And that kind of makes sense because Netflix, you have to pay X amount for, and they have to then go spend so much money. Whereas YouTube, people pay X amount for now to avoid the ads, and we produce all the content for them and give it to them for free. And now they're so spoiled they can delete things if they don't like it. But that's why a lot of people are now moving just the platform I'm on. I know. And I can't recommend enough to everybody at home. Please go. I've spoken to him on the phone, and whether we spoke privately or not is not for me to say. That's all right. It would be unprofessional. I understand. However, Elon's in a very, very unique position because he's trying to do the right thing, and I believe he is doing the right thing. But when you do the right thing, you start to learn how many obstacles there are. People say, why don't you just make a website and make free speech? Why don't you just make free speech? And that's the people who say that have no experience in the world. They don't. Because everything is complicated. Everything is difficult. Because now you have legal challenges from all around the world. You have different laws in every single jurisdiction. You have then power structures within your country, like the Senate or the government who are going to try and stop you. Then you have the unofficial power structures like the money and the big banks who are going to try and stop you. And the media machine's going to try and attack you. And they're going to look through your personal life and try and find attack vectors. Correct. Everything is complicated. Everything is extremely difficult. In fact, the only time this has been proven, I've been proven incorrect on this point, just to segue quickly, is El Salvador. Mm-hmm. Because I used to say to my brother, why don't they just lock everybody up? These gangs are out of control. Society's out of control. There's no way you're going to be able to lock up all of these people without locking up some innocent people. But the percentage of innocent people you lock up will be lower than the percentage of innocent people who are dying on the street or constantly afflicted by gangs or at the mercy of criminals. So it's still better overall for the innocents. I understand there's going to be an individual innocent who ends up in jail who doesn't belong there, but in the generalized for society, grand scheme of things, it's better to be in there. Yeah, you have to do something to fix this. Now, as said, there's going to be one particular innocent person who goes to jail who shouldn't have been in jail, and that's going to be bad for him. He's going to have a bad life story. But for the good of the country, sometimes innocents have to die to sacrifice for the good of the country. Why don't they just lock everybody up and actually fix this? And my brother and I said, well, we've never run a country, so it must be impossible because of Amnesty International. You'll get sanctions against your bank. The Western countries and the Western nations won't allow you to do it because that's going to go against their legal systems and show how ineffective they are. And the media machine's going to attack you, and you're not going to be able to finance anything. Correct. And then the president of El Salvador just turned up and did exactly that and fixed it. And I was like, wow. Because I thought there'd be something to stop him. I thought something would just stop him. I was like, it can't just be that simple. Turns out it is actually that simple. And he also adopted Bitcoin, which is another big FU to the international banking cartel. And because it's the international banking cartel that would have wrecked him for this initially. Yeah, so crypto's the future anyway, which was a fantastic move for him. But the fact that he just made it simple is an amazing thing. I think it's one of the only times I've overestimated the complexity of a task and believing it was impossible. Perhaps I'm not giving him enough credit because I'm a massive fan of him. I think he's done a fantastic job. Perhaps it was more complicated than I understand, but he managed to pull it off. And Elon's currently in the mess now of free speech is a lot more complicated.
Correct.
And he's trying to pull it off, but I think he's doing the right thing.
But he has your back.
Well, he's pushing in the right direction.
Yeah.
And nobody's perfect, but at least if you're pushing in the right direction, you're trying to do the right thing. This is my father's hand symbol. So my father used to do this when he was playing chess. He would sit there and he would focus like this. Okay. And I guess I copied it because that's the whole point of being a son to a father, right? You're supposed to copy your father in all ways and you're supposed to replicate them. And I feel like I've done a very good job of doing exactly that. I feel like that's the exact point of even having a son in the first place. It's them to be a replica of you. Me personally, I want to create 25 Andrew Tates to cause problems into the future. That's what I want to be, a little army of troublemakers. So I saw my father doing it and I copied it, and it's a power mudra. I think a lot of people know that now, but there's
balances the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of your brain as well, right?
Absolutely, and it works. Sometimes, you know, if I need power, it's kind of like Power Rangers, you know, where they get the thing out, and then it powers them up. I can just do this, and then it's ready for war. So I did it famously when I was arrested. I did it in the police car, and I do it very often. And there's been some conspiracy theories that I'm Illuminati and all these kind of things. But it's interesting to read these. It's very interesting when people show them to me online and they say, look, we think you're one of this team or one of that team.
Yeah.
Especially as I'm trying so hard to tell the world how things actually work. I feel like my arrest, though, has proven that I'm genuine. I feel like that
100%.
The one thing that they made the mistake with trying to take me down is they proved I'm not on their side. So anyone now with a functioning brain goes, okay, well, he's not in their club because they're screwing this guy over. So anyone who's still out there, you know, with their social media platforms and jumping up and down and performing and doing whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people who have theories about you. There's always going to be somebody who believes X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But it's the controversy that makes it interesting. Like, my brother and I talk about this quite often. You need both sides of a story to perpetuate it. If it's all just one side of the story and it's accepted truth, then it's not interesting. So even my haters who say that I've actually committed crimes, or the people who say I'm not actually a good guy or whatever, and I've joined this team and I'm secretly a controlled opposition, you need both sides, because it's both sides and the arguing that perpetuates it. You need people who hate you. You need people who love you. And all my haters do a fantastic job of keeping me extremely relevant, and I have to thank them for that. So I have no concerns for certain people in the world disliking me. In fact, I'm very aware that that's an important side of the coin, and I'm glad they exist.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I can't imagine doing it, right? Because I wake up every day and I have things to do and I have a very busy life and I'm trying to be successful and I have beautiful children and wives to see, cars to drive. I have interesting things to do. But if people want to wake up and dedicate their life towards hating me and trying to take me down, which of course just adds hot air to my balloon, then I'm going to take it. Thank you very much. I mean, you're unpaid members of staff and they do a fantastic job. I guess this is just a quick conversation for you to understand that if you see what I see and if you agree with what I'm saying, then of course you need God. Of course, you need to love as many people as possible, be nice to people, help people. Of course, you need to awaken people, tell other people who are prepared to listen the truth about what's happening. Of course, when you see or spot a demon, you need to be prepared and understand that person does not have your best intentions at heart. You need to approach society understanding that a certain percentage of the populace are demonic and their primary goal is your unhappiness. And you also need to get some money, because I think that the poor will be far easier to enslave than the rich, because the poor will sell their souls for money, and the poor will do bad things for food, and the poor can't leave or run away. They're stuck in a geographical area. It's the Hunger Games. The rich, well, a demon can talk in my ear and try and make me say bad things to my huge platform for food, and I don't need it, or for money, and I don't need that. Let me tell you a hypothetical story, because I would never kill myself. When I became the most Googled man on the planet, hypothetical. A hypothetical story. Let me tell you an imaginary story. There's a man who came from nothing, and through his unmatched perspicacity and sheer indefatigability managed to conquer the entire earth and become the most googled and respected human on the face of the planet. This man held massive affinity with the masculine youth. The masculine youth was the number one subsect of the population that they try their hardest to psyop. These men are needed to be slaves. They must build the roads, they must die in wars. They do not want the masculine youth to know the truth. These are the ones they must psyop the hardest, because if they get together in a big group, understanding how corrupt and deranged this world is, revolutions happen. It's not a demonstration when men get angry, it's a revolution. It's only a demonstration when women get angry. So in this hypothetical scenario, when this person became massively influential, he was approached with a sponsorship contract, it was called. And for this sponsorship, he'd get $50 million. And he'd have official opinions, official views, which he's only allowed to say. On certain subjects, he would take certain positions, certain sides. There would be certain topics he was not allowed to talk about at all. He'd even dress a certain way. You know? A little bit more fruity. And the goal was, in this hypothetical scenario, is that this person who came along and inspired hope to combat the demons would sell his soul for $50 million, and he'd change teams. And he'd be sponsored and he'd be protected by the media, because when you're sponsored by a very large company, the media doesn't attack the poster child of the people who fund them. Please understand, you have a newspaper. There is a company which pays millions in advertising to this newspaper. So this newspaper cannot attack the poster child of that company, because then they'll cut the advertising. So you're protected by the MSM. The media won't print bad things about you anymore. In this hypothetical scenario, if this person would have agreed to this deal, the media wouldn't have slandered him every single day for 365 days, lying about him, saying he's a human trafficker when he's done absolutely nothing wrong. But when their own people inside of their own organizations get caught committing sexual crimes, it's forgotten in a single day. Let alone 2 years down the line. Endless matrix attacks. Endless matrix attacks. Demonic. The demons would come along to this man and they would try and offer him money for him to sell his soul. Now, if he had money, he might say no. If he had money, he might say yes. I guess it depends how pure his heart is. But if he had no money, it would sure be a lot more tempting. And I think if you're watching this video and you understand what I'm saying to you, you're going to understand that as you progress through life, as you reach the highest echelons of masculine capability inside of the matrix, there's going to be times you have similar conversations. If you're ever fortunate enough to end up anywhere near my level. If you're unfortunate, you're going to stay a nobody forever. But if you're fortunate, you're going to get to a point where someone's going to sit you down and say to you, the demons want you on their team. And the demons are going to offer you this. And the only way you're going to be able to truly resist in your heart and make sure that your family is fed and make sure you can resist lawfare and afford lawyers and afford to go to jail and feed your mother and your kids while you're sitting in a cell because you stuck to your principles is to have money. So although it seems like a very shallow answer, I believe that getting rich is one of the best things you can possibly do to help save the world. Beautiful. You know why it's beautiful? Is it the snow? No. Is it the trees? Is it the nature? Is it the clean air? No. It's beautiful because there's no people here. And you know, I don't want to be negative. I was going to say negative Nancy, but I need a man's name that begins with N. Negative Nathan. It's not who I am. I'm a positive man, is Top G. However, people are dipshits. On the long drive here, I enjoyed a whole bunch of dipshits who couldn't drive. Either in the fast lane, not moving out the way, pulling out in front of me, sliding on the ice, crashing, skill issues, traffic. Some dipshit parked his car in the gas station. I pull up behind him to get gas. This dipshit goes into the gas station. He must have been there for 35 minutes. The gas station's not that big. I spent less time in fucking Disneyland than he spent in that gas station. Dipshits. And then, when you get famous, lots of things in life are accelerated, right? Your income becomes accelerated. You become exceptionally wealthy because you're no longer getting paid for what you do. You're getting paid for who you are. Anybody can make a video to camera in front of the snow. But when Top G does it, you watch. You understand? So you start to make more money, that's accelerated. You start to get more pussy, that's accelerated. You get clout, you get fame. But also what's accelerated is the dipshittedness of humans. And now I'm out here with absolutely no people because I've realized ever since I became monumentally famous, what I've done is taken all the old friends I've had 20 years ago, because I've made precisely 0 new friends. I don't hang around with any famous people. I don't have any new friends. I'm not falling for the trap like everyone else. I'm with the same day ones I've always been with. Then we live in a big compound with gates and walls and guns. And then if we do leave it, we leave to places like this, which are an hour and a half from civilization, so nobody can talk to me. Because when you're famous, people become intolerable. And I want you to understand, because you're a nobody at home, why famous people don't want to talk to normal people. Because I always thought I'm a man of the people. I'm trying to free people from the matrix. I'm fighting back against tyranny. I'm a common man. I'm from a Luton Council estate. I am just a poor man with lots of money. I'm not a snob. I'm not a Rothschild. I'm a man of the people. If I become famous, I'll stay a man of the people. And then I realized that people are shit. And that's basically impossible. I'll give you some examples. I'm walking down the street. Someone comes up to me. Hey, Andrew, can I get a picture? Now, I know to him that's no big deal. But after 77 times that morning, it's actually very annoying. Because not only am I trying to do something else, I now have to scan and check his hands and make sure he hasn't got a blade or a weapon or a knife. Then I've got to look around at all the people he's with. And then when he takes a picture, all the other people are going to want a picture. So now a line's going to form. And worse than all of that is that this dipshit can't use a fucking phone. I didn't know people couldn't use phones. I've seen my 3-year-old use phones better than most people use their phones. People get their phone out. Can I take a picture? Oh, quickly, because people are looking and they're going to ask for photos. Okay. Bro! You've wasted fucking 20 minutes of my fucking life. And now there's a line of people. And now some mothers run over with her 4 kids. My kids love you. Can I have a photo? It's like fucking, now it's a fucking photo shoot. I actually have other things to do. Maybe when I first got famous, it wasn't that annoying. It's super fucking annoying. I was having breakfast at a hotel, a 5-star hotel, when this fucking dude walks over. Some Australian dude walks over. Good day, mate. Hi. Oh, I love a photo, mate. Yeah, they love you back in Australia. Yeah, I love a photo. Barbecue. It's the worst Australian accent ever, but that's what he sounded like. I was like, well, I'm eating my breakfast. Maybe after my breakfast. Oh, yeah, I just want a quick photo, mate. Yeah, I know. I'm eating my breakfast. I'm not your performing seal. I'm eating my breakfast. Thank you. Goodbye. All right, mate. Just want a photo, mate. Yeah. Maybe on the way out, mate. Yeah. All right. So he annoyed me already. I finished my breakfast. I get up. On the way out, he's looking at me. And I felt bad. Even though he annoyed me, even though he interrupted my breakfast, even though he's a dipshit Australian, even though he's fucking has no manners because he's a crass. Who are Australians anyway? Fucking English criminals we sent over there to fucking. Calm down, Andrew. Calm down. So even though I'm pissed, because I'm such a nice man, I'm good-hearted. You understand? I've got a good heart. On my way out, he's looking at me, gets his phone, photo. For fuck's sake. So I walk over and go, all right, let's do the photo quickly. Oh, yeah, mate, yeah, they love you back in Australia, mate. Yeah, all my mates are going to be, yeah, my mate. All right. Selfie, boom, gets it done. Can you do a shout-out to my mate Steve? No, I don't do shout-outs. Just my mate Steve, it's his birthday, just do a shout-out. I don't do shout-outs. Why? Now, when he asked me why, I thought about smashing his fucking face in. Why? Because I said so. Why? Because I don't fucking work for you. Why? Because I don't owe you a fucking thing. Why? You interrupted my breakfast. I've now decided to leave. I've come over and done your dumb shit. Why? I don't know Steve. Steve could be a fucking pedophile. Why am I gonna shout out Steve? It's gonna end up on the news. Pedophile Steve, #1 pedophile in Melbourne, Sydney, Australia. Fucked 1,000 kids. Shout out by Andrew Tate, misogynist. No! Because they use everything they can against me. Steve's gonna start walking around Australia. And there's another reason I don't do shout-outs, because this has happened. This is a true story. It's why I don't do shout-outs. Steve's gonna walk around Australia Yeah, I got this big crypto project. Yeah, you should invest in my crypto project. My partner's Andrew Tate. No, it's not. Yeah, look, here you go, Steve. Shout out Steve. Yeah, my number one boy, me and Andrew Tate. Yeah, you should give me $100 million. Scamming people. Then I'm going to get emails. This guy said he knew you. He had a video of you. I've lost my life savings. My kid can't afford his leg amputation. All this bullshit. I was trying to have fucking breakfast. Do you understand? Because one Australian dipshit. Dipshit. And this is just the beginning of being famous. You don't understand. So you're sitting there going, why doesn't he want to take a photo? Why does he want to be around people? It's only a photo. It's only a shout out. Why does he want to avoid people so bad? Look at this story I just gave you. That's a completely true story. I'll give you another one. Hey, Andrew, we can make a lot of money together. Don't need money. Don't want your help. No, honestly, we can make a bunch of money. Don't need money. Don't want your help. No, I'm going to put together a proposal. Trust me, it's going to be great. Don't need money. Don't want your help. All right, let me just put it together and let me just show you. You can't show me. I'm busy. You can show a member of my team. Once again, I'm being gracious. I'm giving some dude the chance to pitch me via proxy with his project. He works his ass off. 2 months. Spreadsheets, PDFs, fucking jerking off to porn, whatever you nerds do. Puts it all together. Puts together this whole fucking big famoose. Goes to my associate. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a beautiful crypto project or this amazing website or a new social media network, and we're going to do all these magic things. And we only need Andrew to market it, but we'll do the rest. Not understanding that marketing is basically 95% of the fucking work. Do you understand? I could sell this plain white fucking cup because I'm top G. That's the work. Getting the cup is easy. Coming along saying I can provide white cups if you just sell them and pretending we're 50-50 partners is asinine. Because we're not 50-50 partners, because nobody gives a fuck about your cup without me. I am the cup. Me. I can find someone else to give me white cups. Do you understand? You are replaceable. I am not. There is only one top G. So they come to me with this 50-50 partnership. Garbage. You just do all the marketing, all the real work. And we'll just do all the dumb shit that I could hire Indian staff to do, or my own staff could do, or war room guys could do, or I could just do my fucking self. Anyway, I looked at this proposal for precisely that long. I think it was about 4.5 seconds. And I said no. Should be the end of it, right? I'm being a nice guy. A guy begged for a chance. He put his heart and soul into it. I looked at it for as long as I could possibly bear. I was unimpressed, and I said no. What have I done wrong? Nothing. I denied him 20 times at the beginning. Because he's a dipshit. He then starts walking around, yeah, Andrew's a scammer. He made me, I put all this time and energy into this project we were supposed to work together, and he wasted months of my time, and then he starts spamming my phone, spamming my email. And why'd you waste my time? It could be a really good project. You're missing out. And start attacking me. Bro, I don't fucking know you. I don't know you. I didn't want your project. I didn't want to work with you. I don't know who the fuck you are. You begged and begged and begged. I gave you a chance. You failed. Now you're running around saying that we were supposed to work together and that I'm a bad person and I've screwed you over. You're a fucking dipshit. I should have just never fucking spoke to you. I should have never spoke to the Australian man. I should have never spoke to the people who are trying to do business with me. All these fucking nobodies are constantly trying to get in touch with me at every single fucking time I've ever, because I'm too nice a man, given in and spoken to anyone. I have regretted it 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Do you understand? 100% of the time I've regretted it.